48 now. Today I am joined with 19-year-old country singer Will Paustian. Will has a performance tonight at Grimaldi's Pizzeria, and we are super excited to have him on today.
I'm super excited to be here. Thank you so much again for letting me do this. It's truly an honor.
Absolutely, absolutely. So you'll be performing at Grimaldi's later on tonight for their Music on the Patio. But you'll also do another show there, I believe, on June 5th.
I believe so, yes.
Yeah. Can you talk a little bit about that gig?
So I'm not really sure. My, manager is my mom, and we kind of go back and forth with a bunch of different stuff, and she'll just hit me, oh, I've got this date, I've got this date. So I've played majority of my shows in Athens, so it really is cool to be down here in Huntsville and all just around this area, kind of branching out a little bit more and seeing some new faces. So I'm not sure. Tonight will be my first show there, first time being at Grimaldi's. So I'm super excited to see what it's like and what the area around it's like.
Super exciting. Very cool. And then on your Artist About page, I did a little bit of stalking. On Apple Music, you mentioned one of your earliest musical memories was getting your first guitar at 7.
I believe so. I may have been wrong on that age, but it was a silver tone Stratocaster, like a dark blue, and I could not play it to save my own life. I mean, it was so bad, but that's the first real memory that I have of it, is just playing that thing, annoying everybody in the house for hours.
Yeah. That's a very nice first guitar too, a Stratocaster. Yeah. Did you ever learn how to play that one?
I did not. I didn't learn up until I started taking lessons probably around 15 years old. So just from 7 up till then, it was bouncing through different instruments and just making noise, pretty much.
Very much so.
Yeah.
What instruments did you dive into?
I had an electric drum set when I was younger that I played until the batteries died on it 5 times over. But other than that, it was really just guitar. I played trumpet in the high school band.
Okay.
So other than that, I mean, guitar's been my main thing for majority of my life, just besides the other 2 stints. So.
Very cool. Yeah. Trumpets represent. I was trumpet in my middle school band.
Awesome.
So, yeah. I think I was last chair in concert.
Oh,
band,
I was too.
I
mean.
It took me a long time to make a noise out of that instrument.
Oh, absolutely.
That's for sure. But so you mentioned you were about 15 when you really started diving into the guitar and getting serious about music. Very cool.
I started taking lessons actually over in Madison, and it was just wanting to play lead stuff. And I will say, it probably wasn't until around 17 or 18 when I started writing songs. And my very first show was February, March-ish of last year. So it's really only been a year of doing this, and I wouldn't trade a moment of it for the world.
That's awesome. Look at you now. Yeah, getting gigs. That's super awesome. So who were some of your musical influences growing up?
Oh, goodness. Growing up, it was all my parents' music, which was all classic rock. I mean, that's what really got me into playing, was Guns N' Roses and Slash, and wanting to learn how to do all the cool stuff. But recently, it's just been a lot of country. I mean, it was a major flip from what I grew up listening to now I'm like, oh, I want to play Zach Bryan, Tyler Childers, all this stuff. And my parents were like, dude, just throw in a rock song. I'm like, I can't. I mean, I know where my voice is, and it's not here. Yeah.
But growing up, that's a pretty diverse range of genres you're listening to. How would you say that kind of impacted the music that you now make?
Oh, man. I really don't know. I write now kind of just to anybody's like open mind, I guess. I don't know the best way to say it. And with some of the songs that we will have coming out, it's my listening style now of the new modern country kind of Americana vibe with you've got that rock kind of built up guitar, and you've got the drums, and you've got everything behind it. So I like the way it kind of meshes all together from having, like you said, what I listened to when I was younger, into now having both styles in one and being able to convey that message a little bit further in the songs.
Absolutely, yeah. And you can definitely hear it in your music. Your EP, So Long Stevenson. I gave it a listen. It's really good.
Thank you so much.
I love your song Station 21.
Yeah, that one. Sorry. So that song actually means a whole lot to me. I wrote it around this time last year, and it was for a very good friend of mine. His name was Dylan McMahon, and he supported me in many, many ways. And when I started music, he was at every single show. And sadly, in April of last year, he was in a car accident and passed away. And I was just up at night thinking about him and his family, and I just started writing. And that's all I could come up with was, okay, we'll give this will be his song. This will be for his family. And so it meant a whole lot to me. Before we even released the song, I had texted his mom and just made sure it was okay with his family. I was like, I want to release this as the first single off the album. Is that okay with y'all if we do this? Sent her the tracks, and she loved it. And I'm so thankful to be able to have done that for his family and keep his memory alive within that song in some way.
Wow. Yeah. I'm super sorry to hear that, but such a good song. Very emotional.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
But yeah, so you grew up in Athens. How would you describe your childhood, like growing up in Athens?
Oh, goodness. I mean, everybody knew everybody. I mean, it's such a small town. My whole family, at least my mom's side of the family, all lived within barely a mile radius of each other. So it was a lot of just, I'll walk to my friend's house, which is a mile this way, but it's right there. You can see us. And so, I mean, there were a lot of times growing up that I was like, I want to be in the city. But finally looking back on it, I'm like, there was no other place I would have rather grown up rather than Athens. And having more of a family up there than just what was blood relatives, really. Yeah.
The community there.
Absolutely.
They all come out. They support high school football games.
100%.
Yeah.
They go crazy for high school football.
Yeah, that's awesome. But so let's talk a little bit about your EP, So Long Stevenson. I'm just curious, what made you name it So Long Stevenson?
So this is a very weird story. There was a house, the house that's the main picture actually, up in Ardmore, Tennessee on Stevenson Road. Okay. And it was where me and a bunch of friends of mine would go and just hang out during the summer. Because they lived up there, and I would get off work and go up there or just whatever, and we would spend countless hours just sitting around playing guitar and just hanging out up there, barely even on our phones, because it was just fun to be in their company. And I told them one night when we were all just talking, I was like, if I ever get to do anything with music, I want to make it something for everybody. And they were like, like laughing about it. So when this opportunity finally presented itself, I told them, I was like, I want to name it So Long Stevenson, because since then they've moved out of the house, nobody lives there. And thankfully got to use the picture of the actual house, and when it came out, they were like, "You actually did it!" And I was like, "I told you, this is way bigger than just a me thing," because they were there for mainly the big events that have kind of shaped my music and how I am today, was with all of them. So back to the whole Athens thing, that community and being a bigger family rather than just a community. Yeah. They became family to me, and I will forever love them, and that's what I wanted to do, was give them something that, sure, it has my name on it, but it's for everybody.
Absolutely. That's super awesome. And your first song that you mentioned in one of your previous interviews, Autumn Leaves.
Yes.
That's one of the ones you hold very closely. Can you talk a little bit about the process of making that track?
Oh, goodness. See, this is... So Autumn Leaves, really most uninteresting story, to be honest. I woke up one morning at 4 a.m. and all I heard was the chorus, just the first line of the chorus. And I was like, oh, that sounds cool. I'll write it down. And really from there, it just became what sounds cool, was mainly how I wrote it. And all it started with was, "'Cause these autumn leaves spell your name." And I had no clue what that meant to me yet, but at 4 in the morning, I was just like, yeah, that sounds like a cool line. Let's just write it down. And that was the either first or second song I ever wrote. And so I was incredibly glad to be able to put that out there and have somebody go, okay, this is actually good, instead of just words on a note in my phone.
Yeah.
But it is truly one of my other favorite songs, just because of the emotional ties to it and everything, being the first one.
Yeah. That's super cool, like the process there, an idea becomes music lyrics, and then like just putting all the pieces together to create a track. That's that's super cool to see. But I realized you played Panoply just a few weeks ago.
Actually, I didn't get to.
Oh, you didn't? Okay.
Yes. I had a little scare with some stuff, wound up in the hospital like the day before Panoply. No. And so that actually had to be canceled, but still, I mean, they sent me a letter right after I got out, you know, just wishing that or well wishes, hoping that I was okay. So I mean, truly, that was the first time I'd ever got to work with the Huntsville Arts League, and absolutely incredible people. The ones that we talked to on the phone saying, "Hey, I know this is last second," you know, just incredibly understanding people, and so I'm very thankful, very thankful for them.
That's awesome.
And everything that they did with that. So.
That's sad to hear, but you'll be back next year. I'm sure you'll be back.
I would love to be. I would love to be. Absolutely.
That's awesome. Yeah. What is just your favorite part of being on stage performing?
Honestly, just getting to tell stories that I never thought people would be able to hear. I started writing songs just for myself and just kind of to get my thoughts out of my head so I wouldn't keep just obsessing over them. And so just being able to, yes, play the covers and music that I like and do different takes on different songs is cool, but playing my own music and getting to share some bits of my story, I guess you'd say, is really awesome to me, because it came from a time when I thought I wouldn't be able to. So that's the most freeing feeling, is just being able to make a fool of myself and have fun with it. I mean, it's the only way to really put it.
Yeah, I love that. And how would you, you mentioned your sound is kind of Americana, country sounding. How would you fully describe like the sound that, the style that you create?
I'm really not sure. I've been asked this before, and the only real way to put it, and it's kind of like it is on my artist thing on Apple Music, is like, I just write to allow people to feel. When I started writing, I was very much at a space in my life where I was all in my head and stressed out and worried about so many different things, that my main driving point was, what can I write that I wish I could hear right now? And that's all I've really wanted to do since the beginning of this, is just write something that, even if maybe I would describe it like, oh, this song, I wrote it because I was angry about this thing. Somebody else could hear it and go, oh, but that makes me happy because I can remember this. Just so vague that anybody can feel whatever they feel is necessary to feel about it, and kind of open that gateway to have people listen to it and go, it's okay to feel this way about certain different things. Because I was in a time where I was scared to feel fully what I was feeling. So now that I can kind of have that platform and I guess help in a way with some things like that, that's the biggest thing for me, is just trying to touch one person who may need to hear something that they haven't.
That's awesome. And music, it's the great escape, the ultimate healer.
Absolutely.
I would say. Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely helped me, for sure.
Will, what do you want to like accomplish with your career moving forward?
I mean, the typical answers, you know, oh, I want to play arenas, I want to do this, but really, I mean, I'm riding the wave as long as I'm allowed to. I'm having fun. Like I said, it's only been really a full year of doing this, and the things that I've been able to see and do have been insane. I mean, like, yeah, I'm still working my day job, but doing this, being able to go play shows, and even if it's, you know, an hour, 3 hours, however long, I never even thought it would get this far, to be honest with you.
That's awesome.
So just being able to do it and have fun with it, I've really just given it to God, honestly, and been fully accepting of whatever's thrown my way, and I'll handle it the best way that I know how, which is to write a song about it. I mean,
very cool. Finally, where can people find you and your music on social media?
So I'm on Facebook at Will Paustian Music, and TikTok at Will Paustian _music. And those are the two main things that I really post on. I do need to get better about posting on TikTok. My TikTok is severely lacking. And then YouTube as well is just Will Paustian. And those are my main 3 social media platforms that I post everything up to. All of my dates, any new songs, any other videos is all on those 3 platforms.
Very awesome. Well, Will, if maybe I didn't ask something and you want to add, you go ahead.
I do want to mention and give a quick shout out to the Reach and Teach Foundation. That was really how I got my start, was through them, and so it feels very wrong to not mention them because of how much they have done for me. I don't know how much you know about the Reach and Teach Foundation. It's a nonprofit organization out of the Florence area, and they go to different high schools and do a free rock show. It's set up through the curriculum with the schools. I think it's the business education teachers usually who they go through, or any of the counselors, and they'll go and provide all of the materials for the class, everything. I think it's like a week-long thing. I could be wrong about that. But they set up a camp 2 years ago where I was able to meet everybody who was behind it, the two co-owners, April and Cameron Fleener. And that's really how I got my start, was just I showed them some lyrics and was like, tell me if this is something I should do, or tell me if I should stop. And they were like, oh, this is good. And later that week, I'd played for the first time in front of about 30 kids that I'd never met before that week, and really ripped the bandage off on that. So I owe absolutely everything to the Reach and Teach Foundation and April and Cam and everybody involved with that, because truly without them, I would probably not even be playing shows, to be honest, because I mean, they are incredible people. So Reach and Teach Foundation for sure is what I want to bring up.
Absolutely. Well, everyone, Will Paustian, you will be seeing a lot more of him. Tonight he's playing Grimaldi's, and who knows where he'll be next week. So, but Will, thank you so much for coming on today. I greatly appreciate it.
I appreciate you. Thank you.